So viewer's choice number one. Before I go into it, I do just want to say a quick personal message to Sam, who's one of the subscribers to this channel, who's emailed in. He would like to, he lives in North Wales and would like at some point to come up and do a driving assessment. He agrees with, in his words, 99.9% of what I say, which I love. He says he just never agrees fully with everyone. That's fair enough. Sounds good character. I just want to, I hope everyone will join me in wishing Sam well. He's going for lung cancer treatment, and obviously we don't know what Sam might be feeling, but we wish you all the best. I hope plenty of you will comment to wish Sam well. And Sam, hopefully we will see you on this channel before too long. So I wish you the best in your treatment, and I very much look forward to meeting you. So it's really lovely to hear from some of you and put a bit of a name and a face to the subscribers. So the first one is from Nancy. Nancy's 57 and lives in the Scottish borders, and she's also got a YouTube channel herself. It's called Drive Smart Dash. I've subscribed. I think it was the video clip she sent me. I had to look through. She sent me her pet peeve, which is what we're going to be going over today for viewer's choice for the first one. But she also, in that video, showed some really lovely forward planning, attitude and courtesy to people around her. So it just made me feel very happy. So I subscribed, and I think it was lovely to watch. Nancy passed her test 4 years ago. I think it's fantastic when people, you know, we're all different in our journeys, and some happen later. I think it's fantastic that Nancy's then gone on to have her own YouTube channel and enjoys spreading the message of positive driving. So in Nancy's video, her pet peeve, as you can see, she's approaching a mini roundabout, and a blue car does what a lot of us hate seeing. They cut straight over the center markings, and Nancy then demonstrates correctly how to do it, and quite rightly says it's not difficult. So I've done a video on this before, but not actually always specifically about the actual going around of the center circle. Now, what I want to try and target in this video is obviously Nancy's pet peeve and why it could be annoying her, but also the reasons that it could be happen. Now, genuinely, KUSA is something you'll hear me say a lot on this channel. It's how we teach learners. If you have no gaps in knowledge, understanding, skills, or attitude, you don't really have problems on the road. As soon as you have a gap in knowledge, understanding, skills, or attitude, you have problems on the road. So if you think of the reasons people like the blue car could be doing things like this, the first one is knowledge. So do people actually know, and there's not really an excuse these days, I think, but do people actually know Rule 188, which says you must go around the center markings? It's not optional, it's not advisory, you must, it's the law, and you can be fined if you don't. I think there's not enough enforcement on this for sure. Then the big one for me is attitude. Skill, I don't think is really applicable here personally, because I don't think it's difficult at all. But attitude's a big one. You know, you look at this person in Ipswich, this is near the test centre. Now, I do wish they'd repaint the markings. I think if markings are fresh, I do feel people are more likely to stick to them. But if you see this case, this person decides, and they really, I don't think, can see enough into this road to make this decision. They're not even going to go and try and go around or even over the circle. They go completely the wrong side of it, and that is quite frankly ridiculous. The danger of this is if that sort of things becomes your habit, then what will happen is when you're not thinking, you will do exactly that. So when you are distracted in your car and not thinking 100% about the drive, you will do whatever is natural to you, and maybe you haven't seen that cyclist, or maybe you haven't seen that car that's actually about to come onto that side of the road. The biggest reason I personally think people just drive over center circle is the understanding, maybe not actually understanding why it is the law that you go around it. So if we have a little look at that. Well, thank you, sir. Ah, there's a good one. Now, I don't know if that would have shown up on the camera, but I had a blocker at that mini roundabout that came from the left. They've got a right signal, so obviously I'm going to make sure they're not doing a U-turn, which they should avoid. But that is my blocker. That holds the traffic to the right still, so I can move on. Hopefully it showed on the camera, but I was facing that way. Now, if they actually went around the centre circle, if they had just driven straight over it, they would have been out the way so quickly that now that traffic is then again flowing from my right, and I'm going to really struggle to use that as a blocker. That is one of, for me, the most important reasons in that you must be going around the centre circle. You're going to help the traffic flow, and anything that helps traffic flow is better. If you cut those markings, people cannot or have much more difficulty using you as a blocker, and therefore they lose their opportunity to actually get going. The second reason is view. So it depends on the roundabout, of course, with this, but I'm going to turn right into Tesco. And of course, they are very faded, so again, that annoys me, but I am going to go round the centre markings. Now, by going further round, I get a much better view, and I get time to think about this pedestrian, and everything is going to remain safer. So depending on the road layout, you could get a much better view actually into where you're going. The third one is to avoid collisions. Imagine going onto a roundabout and having the attitude that you're going to just cut the centre circle straight over it. Maybe like these people. So if you see this clip in this, and you've got 1, 2, 3 people, and they all just go straight over the centre markings. Now, if any of them move on at the same time, and maybe too quickly, like a lot of people love to do these days, you've actually got the real possibility of a collision. Now, if you look at me taking a roundabout, one of the most annoying things I find about mini roundabouts is when I'm coming towards one and I'm turning right, the person opposite me doesn't realise they need to give way to me, such as in this case. Now, this happens a lot, and because of that, I always go onto a mini roundabout very slow, and I go round the markings. If you look at this clip, by going round the markings, I didn't even have to slow down.
Okay, good.
As you can hear from the footage, I cursed and swore at this person quite loudly. Or B, I just carried on with my day. So, I mean, I did a video a long time ago on mini roundabouts, and I had a particular one in Bury St Edmunds, and quite literally every time I circled round, someone would pull in front of me, and it's only by going around the centre markings that I avoid a collision. Now, in that video, this is the fourth reason to not cut the markings. I asked anyone if they knew about liability, who would be liable if someone that should give way to me was to emerge, and I cut the markings and we have a collision. And actually, it was quite a long answer from someone that actually deals with liability that watches this channel. It was a really interesting one for me, because actually, depending on how the cars collide would determine a lot of the liability, but in most cases you are looking at some form of split liability because you've cut the centre markings, which breaks the law, and actually it could be proved that the collision could have been avoided, etc, etc. Anyway, so if you cut the markings and collide with some other plum who decides to pull out in front of you or cut the markings themselves, you're not going to be winning the case hardly ever. There you go. That was not difficult to go around. But again, it's the habit forming. If you make a habit of it, you'll do it when you're thinking of other things. You know, we all drive with other thoughts in our brain. But again, you know, attitude is always the one for me, Kusa. Knowledge you can enhance, understanding you can enhance, skills you can enhance. Attitude, you've got to be willing. So, you know, there's going to be people that, again, they'll watch my channel and say, oh, he's boring because he's talking about road safety. I don't care. That's fine. Look, great. If you look at anything to do with road safety and how we're trying to improve it, you've got 3 E's. The best one is education, but you can't make people listen. You can't always change the attitudes. Certainly not from a YouTube channel. If they're in person next to me, I might have a better chance. But that's the hardest part to change. The next one's engineering. So you've got things, of course, like airbags, etc. You know, my car will brake if it's about to hit something for me. All these things that over the years have been brought in to try and reduce road casualties and road deaths, etc., etc. And the only other E you've got left is enforcement. And if you look at something like going around the centre circle, I've never seen it enforced. I'd love to see it enforced a little bit more, but because there's no enforcement, there's no deterrent for the people that have gaps in the knowledge, understanding, skills, attitude, and so they will just do it. So going around the centre circle, it keeps you slower. And mini roundabouts, they, in terms of like the legislation, mini roundabouts are not to be placed in places where the speed limit exceeds 30 miles an hour, and that's because they would become unsuitable. The idea of that is we're not meant to do them fast. So going around the centre circle might not be the racing line, but it keeps you slower. And again, the bit for me is a roundabout. We use them heavily in this country, of course. It's a way of keeping everything flowing, giving people a better opportunity to get moving. So if you just cut straight over the centre circle, you take away from someone that ability to get moving. La 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 la, I'm free. So if I go round the markings, see the car to my right, there you go, he can now go. If I just gunned it straight over like that, the silver car wouldn't have had the time necessarily to get going. Certainly if they're not a lightning quick, reaction driver. But my slow speed, they're going around the markings that enabled him to do it. God, I'm so nice. I'm so nice. Why does that one person keep giving me a thumbs down on my videos? I'm lovely. I'm free. Oh, Jeff, got you. We'll talk about that shortly. Okay. As you do. Again, notice I swore loudly, beeped my horn, or B, I didn't behave like a child. Oh, what a wonderful day. One thing I must admit, I think in the future, I think mini roundabouts are going to become a real problematic area, because if you look at someone that, let's say, has a bit of a bad attitude, and you put them in an electric car, which of course are going to get more and more common. We all know, if you've driven one, just how quick off the line electric cars are. They are insane. And if you think of the problems we have on mini roundabouts, a lot of them stem from my last pet hate, which is use of speed. And so put multiple electric cars in the wrong hands on a mini roundabout, and you're breeding more and more problems.